We've got Pecan in the background, who's a wonderful barker, and Pamelyn Chee, another returning and wonderful guest. How you doing today, Pamelyn?
Hi everyone. Sorry, my dogs are getting crazy today.
Who wants
What's
to?
up?
Oh well, we figured we'd drop in and do another chat. We had a lot of fun the last times we'd done it, and it's an easy way to stay in contact with people when we live out in the middle of the jungle. So I guess my first question is what's your sentiments on the market as a whole, and what are your thoughts?
Bear.
Bear, good. Bear.
100% bear. Yeah, until the thing like retests the 6K V bottom, I am not going to be a bull. I think we're going to hit that soon. The G20 thing is on the 19th, which I think is Monday, and I think they might dump over the weekend right into that. So this could be a fake like bull that we are currently experiencing. So don't get too excited when you see the green bars.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a retest of that 382 line and potentially even the 236 down around the 5,500 $6,500 is really plausible. But a lot of it comes down to emotion and the way people feel about these markets. And we just saw Peter Thiel this morning went long on Bitcoin, saying it's a travesty to see how difficult it is to still transfer money through banks. On the weekends they're closed. So overall, the sentiment is bullish in the long term, but short term, I agree with you. We're still in a bearish market, and until we break that $12,000 to $15,000 line, we're not going too much higher. So we were recently chatting before we jumped on the phone call too about something called WAN chain. You want to tell me about that? Have they
One
done
chain.
WAN?
One chain.
WAN
Yep.
chain.
Basically, I think they just did a token swap over the last month and a half, and they're supposed to launch on Binance. So everybody has BTC ready to go because they want to like just scoop up as much as they can when this thing launches. It sort of has like a Monero privacy, and it's a cross-chain thing with smart contract. They're partnering with Kyber to launch their own decentralized exchange where you can basically put any coin on it. So if you put like Ethereum, they'll just mint a copy of the Ethereum as a placeholder until like that coin gets removed. So this thing is going to be huge, but we don't know when it's launching and like what the price is going to be. But I think that there are online channels where you can sort of like trade
Yeah.
amongst people. I don't know how safe that is, but that's been going on. And the last I checked, it was about 350 per token, but I don't know what the ICO price was.
Yeah, I didn't check into it, but so they already did an ICO, so they had their raise, and now they're trying to launch the token on Binance.
No,
It'll be
it's the rumor that it's going to be on Binance, but nobody knows for sure.
all right. Those rumors can always go anywhere. It's been difficult
Yeah.
to pay attention to the market because there's so many talking heads in the space. And you said Neblio was one of the tokens you and I had chatted about last time. I didn't realize they had a staking option. Do you know if that's in their wallet or if it's
Yep.
how they function?
Well, basically, the Neblio wallet on your computer, which is running a full node, allows you to have a 10% ROI, and you basically have to open and close your wallet every 7 days. You don't have to move it in and out of the wallet like they say on the website. They also have a web-based wallet which does not allow staking, but that might be easier if you don't want to run the node. And I've been staking it for what is it, 6, 7 months. It's pretty good. I think you get paid every 2 to 3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. And these are huge incentivizations for people to use the platform as well. Because if you can stake, uh, you're basically getting rid of the old tax-free savings or even long-term savings accounts who offer maybe 2 to 3% for you to not touch it. And all you have to do is lock it up for a month or maybe 3 weeks to receive those returns. That's huge. We're so close to putting the banks out of work. Is there any other tokens recently that have jumped into your eye that you're interested in aside from Substratum and Neblio?
Well, dude, I've been buying so many shit coins, man. As everybody's like selling, I'm like the queen of shit coins. I bought a whole bunch of like salt. What is it? I bought more sub. I bought I can't even remember everything that's basically below the 88.6. I'm in. I don't care what it is. I'm just buying bottoms of every chart.
Yeah, no, it's a smart move, especially if you can
Yeah.
move from fiat into the tokens. As a in America, what exchange are you using for to go in and out of fiat, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, Gemini.
Yeah,
That's what I use. Yeah.
I'm a Canadian, so I'm not actually allowed to use Gemini. How are their services?
It's pretty good, and I think they're actually insured. So, like, I mean, your USD is insured. That's what they say.
Yeah, well,
I
so
mean, until it goes bust, that's what
yeah,
it says.
until the U.S. dollar's worth nothing, we'll ensure that. Paper dollars are easy to back. Um, and so for here in Canada, we've actually run into a little bit of, well, I'm in Costa Rica, but as a Canadian citizen, our exchanges basically stopped working a few weeks ago. Some of the intermediary banks have cut off processing as well. So I've been jumping between here and the next corporation we're opening in Singapore to try to pick up that slack and do big OTC trades instead. It's been wild to see that with the way 10x, WireX, and Monaco haven't been able to produce a card yet that works. Whereas a few years ago, I had WireX and it worked like a breeze. It was so much better than having a regular bank card. I could put Bitcoin in, and I could swipe it like a credit card. It would work within 20 minutes. I was blown away at the ease of use, and they were open every day of the week, whereas my banks are closed on weekends. I'm still blown away by how these old systems cannot keep up. What do you use one of the BitPay or Shift cards in the United States?
Oh no, I don't do that. I'm not interested in spending my cryptos. Why would you do that?
No, I think it's important for understanding the ecosystem. For me as an entrepreneur, some of the things I liked about Bitcoin is it takes over the place of wire transfers or Swift transfers because they're faster and cheaper. But also the use of point to POS, or not proof of stake, but point of sale systems are extremely important because that's how the average consumer will generally interact with these technologies in the future. So I was always using it because I thought it was important to make sure that it was use case worthy. And they were for a long time until Wavecrest and all these other MasterCards started blocking off. I think they realized that they were under the chopping block for competition. So it's been astounding to see that the banks are cutting off intermediary processors. Mastercard is doing that as well. They're definitely scared. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing that.
Yep. I mean, I'm not the average consumer, so I have no intention of spending my cryptos. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it's also the point where we want to get to next, right? You want to get to a point where we're not actually using US dollars, where I could go in. So I bought my truck recently using Bitcoin, and I didn't have to use US dollars. And that's really where we want to get to. We want to get to the point where people start to accept digital assets instead of US dollars. But also, as the intermediary steps are important, I figured it was. At least from where I'm coming from, I like to prove my own stake in the game. So with Arcane Bear, my goal is to make money in crypto and be able to spend that crypto as well, regardless of if it was in U.S. dollars or not. Do you think countries like Japan or Singapore or China will shoot up ahead in terms of adoption because of their more integrative regulations? Like even though China banned Bitcoin and or ICOs, they're a hugely thriving industry for the space.
Well, Singapore is launching the Ethereum like sovereign token. I don't know what the deal is when they're launching it, but it seems like the whole world is watching that, and I think we are very pro. Shit, hang on a second. I think we're very pro. We're very pro crypto, actually. In Asia, generally, they're pro crypto.
Yeah, I heard something about that recently when I was in chats with one of our advisors, that Singapore will have it so that, and I think Dubai too will have it so that when you basically stop in
Yep.
the airport, you can trade into this blockchain-based sovereign currency. That would be huge for the markets and adoption, especially on the other side of the world. Do,
Yeah, and it's well, Cliff said that it was going to do very well, so we'll see what if like his prediction actually comes true.
so, and no plans to move back to Singapore to continue your acting career there?
Well, I don't know. I got some offers to do some crypto shows like in New York and in Singapore, but I'm just like not really interested in moving. We'll see.
What's the big seller about staying in Los Angeles?
There is nothing except that I don't feel like moving. I don't feel like moving my dogs. Hang on a second. This dog is. Ugh. All right, sorry. Yeah, yeah. I just don't feel like moving. I've done too much moving the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm personally aiming at the other side of the world. I think integrative adoption over there is going to push their entrepreneurial boom into the future, which is where I would, at this particular part of the wave, I would rather be. I think the United States And a lot of Latin America and Canada are probably going to be a few years behind in adoption.
Yep.
Maybe you can find some places in maybe Panama or Brazil, because I've heard Brazil is adopting blockchain quite rapidly, where they'll move ahead of the curve, but still I think they're going to be significantly further behind places like Africa and the Asian continents. So I'd be interested to see which companies offered you a position. Do you mind sharing?
Oh, I shouldn't say. Like that's yeah, that's a secret.
Nice, that's good. Keep it secret until you can go live with it. It's all the better that way. So do you have any predictions with where we'll be at the end of the year with any of these tokens between Litecoin, Bitcoin, or Ethereum? My top three.
Seriously, I don't care about Litecoin. I
Really?
don't know that it's really going to go like 25% of one BTC, even though everybody seems to think that it's going to go to the moon. I sold all my LCC. I might buy back if it tanks, when it tanks, but I'm not like, I'm not thinking that this is going to be the winner.
It's one of the
Yeah.
only tokens that held its previous or that held the all-time high support, and it's a multi-year all-time high. I think if it breaks out of that, it has a very likely chance of going to a different relationship to Bitcoin. Point two, I think, is very very strong. And again, it depends on how these companies build their business use case. Can
Mhm.
Litecoin build a partnership with a company like Amazon? That would put Litecoin's use case through the roof. But again, it's only time will tell on those particular features. What about regulation in the United States? Do you think regulation is going to get in the way of anything you're trying to do, or
Well, first of all, I'm not American, so like I don't really care, and I haven't been following very much except like for all these people like bitching on Twitter. Um, yeah, but what what can they do? People are just gonna move, or they're going to try to like trade on. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know how I should say this without making it sound illegal, but a lot of people are getting IDs from other countries
no?
to trade on these exchanges. I don't know how it's being done, but I've heard this on like Reddit and stuff. So, I mean, this whole thing might just go underground,
Wow.
if you know what I'm saying.
Well, there's a difficult part here too, where we know that prohibition doesn't actually stop anything. Like the war on drugs was a complete failure. Trying to ban alcohol was a complete failure. If you try to regulate too much, people will just find another way, or they'll move, like you're saying. It's a it'll be really interesting to see what happens over the next year. I think this is one of those match point of no returns. For once you set all this fuel on fire, like I said, the fact that banks are closed on the weekends, you still can't send a wire transfer over the weekends of the holidays is this is 2018. Things should function more efficiently than that, especially in the digital world. So
Right.
I think we're in for a big run in all of the digital asset space over the coming year. But you're right. It's not until we test some of these lower lows. And I think the bigger money has been purposely by doing that by creating news FUD or news uncertainty, and then taking advantage of that by their ability to put in huge sell walls too, which create that or buy walls or sell walls that create the FOMO or the anticipation. Like how quickly we ran up to $20,000 was almost unheard of. So to see it drop back down, I think we're headed to 40,000 by summer, and I still have $80,000 targets by the end of the year for once we break free. Do you pay attention to the older stock markets at all? Are you invested in any
No,
traditional portfolios?
no,
No.
I'm not interested, and I will never touch that anymore. Don't even talk to me about stocks.
What about other parts of your portfolio? Do you own any silver, gold, or land?
uh, I did. I sold all my silver and all my gold and bought Bitcoin, and it's just like I think I might have made like 6% off like my silver like in 2 years. What I mean, that's like insignificant.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't need another like paperweight.
Yeah,
It's so hard to sell it. It's heavy. You can't store it. It's just like, what is the point?
absolutely. No, I agree with you. About in January last year, I liquidated all of my stock portfolio, gold and silver as well, and moved all into crypto. It was the smartest financial decision I could have made at the time. The only gold I actually kept was just as like a necklace as just a reminder of how ridiculously silly that was to think we were going back to the bronze and stone age essentially to for money.
Right. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about was I saw this online, was it on Reddit, that all these like KYC like lists were getting hacked, so all the personal information was sort of like out, and they were selling it to other companies or something. So
Ooh.
that's the other reason why people are saying that, dude, I need to get a fake ID to like go for these KYC things, because what if my information gets hacked? Do you know what I'm saying? So I think this is sort of like, yeah,
Well,
just
yeah,
become another like shit dump.
what a difficult process. Because a lot of the KYC stuff hasn't gone blockchain based yet, so it's just as centralized as any of the old services that had been hacked in the past. Like, oh, I forget which was it AIG Insurance. I forget which insurance company was hacked last year, where they lost over 350 million people's social security numbers, etc. Those are big moves because they can steal your identity with that type of stuff. It's very dangerous. Um, it's
Yep.
crazy to see that regulation really tries to stifle progress, and inevitably will push the entrepreneurial world into a completely different country. How did the movie Skyline end up doing after it was released? I haven't got a chance to watch it
Uh,
yet. Was wait, what,
it did pretty well, but I'm sort of like working on some other things right now. So yeah.
what are you working on?
I have to go back to Asia to do another film, but I mean, I'm just waiting on the schedule to see like what the dates are.
Nice, that's fun. Can you tell us what kind of film it is?
Well, probably not now, but maybe.
All these spoilers, we're going to have to come back and do this again so we can stay up to date. Well,
Yeah.
I hope to see you in Singapore. I'm really excited to visit that country. It's gorgeous, and it looks like it's actually in the right time of the future that it's supposed to be, not 20
Right.
to 30 years behind where likely the United States will end up. Um,
Also, the banking system is really efficient if you want to like run a business or like set things up. You're like in and out in no time. They're very, very good for like work stuff.
Yeah, we opened our corporation there. It took only a few days. And aside from the fact that we have to operate with KPMG and DBS Bank because they want high levels of scrutiny on these larger companies, it would have been a breeze. Like if you didn't want to open a digital asset company, just a regular company, you could do it in
Right.
almost 24 hours.
Right. Right. They're very, very fast. It's like super efficient.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to work with everyone over there. I'm excited to go visit as well. Are you planning on making any visits to any of the conferences on the other side of the world?
Blockchain?
Yeah, blockchain
Probably
conference.
not.
Why not? You
What do I care about tech? I'm a puntress. Why are you talking to me about tech?
no, it's good. Someone's got to show up and be one of the social aspects of this ecosystem. I can't be the only one doing it.
Well, we'll see. But yeah, maybe.
I
No
think
plans, but I'm open.
it's a good idea. We hope to see you at some of these conferences. And
Cool.
for the very least, we can go talk poop about Ripple or something.
Are you trying to get me more trolls on Twitter?
Yes, I actually really appreciated the fact that the last time you and I chatted, people thought we were paid to talk poorly about Ripple. We're like, no, no. And that was when it was at $3.50, almost a day and a half after we talked poorly about it. Ripple was down at a dollar. Like it
Hey,
was
it's not our
us,
fault, man.
like it was us who did that. I loved that. That was a makes you feel good when people think you're at fault for the price movement. It's like, no, no, we knew that was coming. It was inevitable. They've been great at dumping that token every time it goes high. It's like a rigged movement of the token almost. It's
Yep,
not a big
seems
fan.
like it.
Yeah, they own too much of the circulating supply in their system. It's sometimes I think you can get away with that, like with Veritasium. We're actually trying to sell that as your product, whereas with Ripple, it's supposed to be a tokenized asset. It's not supposed to be used as a token in a machine like you would an arcade game or something, which is more how I view a lot of what Veritasium has done. It's like, oh, I want to play this arcade game, great, it's live, and then as soon as the token runs out, you can't play. You have to put more tokens in to continue playing the game. Whereas with Ripple, it's actually a tokenized asset that's used to as a Swift replacement because of the speed. So the fact that they have control. I dropped out there for
Oh
a
yeah,
second.
back. Yeah,
Nice.
sorry. What were you saying?
I wish I had better internet in Costa Rica. It's very difficult. So do you have what kind of shit coins have you buying? I know Tone Vase is probably a huge fan of yours.
What?
Tone Vase is probably a huge fan of yours. What shit coins have you been buying?
Oh yeah, a lot. I bought a lot of Spank. It is a sort of like a webcam for like a girls like sex token thing, which I think is going to be huge. And well, the sex industry always leads tech, let's just face it. And they're going to come up with this booty token where basically you can stake. I'm not sure what the ROI is, but this thing is actually pretty promising. And I think Charles from Cardano actually put out a tweet, like I think a couple of weeks back, saying, "How come Spank is getting so much coverage on CoinDesk, but then like Cardano gets zero?"
Yeah, well, Cardano doesn't have a working model yet. They're still, they're still working on their actual platform, are they not?
I don't know, but I mean, he seems to just be so angry all the time. It's just really bad PR,
Yeah.
especially for something that seems so promising.
We see that almost everywhere in the ecosystem, that a lot of these tech companies don't have the social relations it takes to really launch their platform into the mainstream media. It's almost like they've forgotten the fact that Facebook isn't successful because of the code that underlies it. Facebook is successful
Right.
because of the way people can communicate and interact socially. If you don't have that social aspect, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, but I mean, what can you do? It's entertaining to watch on Twitter
Yeah.
because you just see all these crazy things being said.
Yeah, I guess in some way, I guess all you can do is laugh at it. The fact that we're in still such a baby version of this market. We haven't hit mass adoption yet, and although we may be on the cuff or the curve of doing that, that you can tell that it's not going to happen today. But especially by the sentiments, Bcash was a very noticeable one for that too. That they just don't have the PR response to deal with the social impact version of how these stories go. Like, it's such an interesting argument to see, and I definitely see where you're coming from with the value of Spankcoin too. That even though that's not a necessarily socially acceptable niche, it's one of the biggest niches in the internet space to date. I wouldn't even know the statistics, but I'm sure it's one of the highest grossing industries on the internet still. So if you can if you can hit that niche and work properly with it, whether it's Spankcoin or I think Cloakcoin is still going to do very well as they build those business partnerships because they're already functioning, have a great GUI. It really depends on the niche that they're focused on, because these niches are moving trillions of dollars or billions of dollars every year, and all you got to do is insert yourself, use the technology to your advantage, and you should be quite successful. Oh, and just while we're there, remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is in no way, shape, or form investment advice. This is strictly two crazy people's opinions. Do not take it as advice.
Don't listen to me. I'm like my risk tolerance is really, really high. So please do not do what I do.
Yeah, it's good not to be risk adverse in this ecosystem. It can pay off immensely, especially when you're patient. So I'm glad to hear that you play in the waters as deeply as we do. I didn't go all in, but I went pretty much all in the beginning of last year, just because as a young man, it's like I could fail and start my business all over again. It wouldn't hinder me in the slightest. Have you done any other entrepreneurial kicks in your life, or has it been mostly acting up to this point?
What, do I look like an entrepreneur to you?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what an entrepreneur looks like. I didn't think there's like.
Well, it doesn't look like me. I can tell you that for sure.
I don't know about that. I think you have all the qualities of being a talented entrepreneur. You're not risk adverse. You're social. As far as I know, you like to tell me that you're not socially acceptable, but you're very well spoken and amiable and conscientious, which are all strong traits of entrepreneurs. So I'd be interested. Are you? You'll have to let us know if you decide if you come up with any business plans, or if you want to just share them. I'll take them and launch them for you.
Okay, I'll give you 10%.
Yeah, great. I would love to own 10% of as many successful businesses as I possibly can. So it sounds like a deal.
Okay.
Well, Pamela, we'll keep it short for today. I really appreciate your time. This has been a fantastic podcast. Thank you for joining us again. I really enjoy the general conversation, and as we grow this channel, that's one of the most important parts. Just for heads up for the Bear family, we've got Thomas Campbell coming online in the next April 10th and 12th. He's a PhD in physics. He worked for the Department of Defense, the NSA. He's built bombs, and all of a sudden one day he quit all of those three-letter agencies to start studying consciousness as a stream of information. And he's turned this entire thought pattern upside down into very similar to what Bruce Lipton does. We've also got Gabor Mate, Aubrey Marcus, Cliff High and the CEO for Digibyte and a few other great interviews lined up with you guys. So we hope to see you again. And then Pamela, again, one more time, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon. I hope in actually person this next time.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao. Oh, just lastly, before we say goodbye, Pamelyn wants to share something with all the family.
Yeah, so I forgot to tell you that PayPie is a nub in the oyster and is really cheap now, so everybody should think about getting some. They are actually part of the Ethereum Alliance, and also they just hired this new guy. He has a really good like Asian reach. I think his name is Derek Liu, and this could be potentially huge. So that's it. Don't let the skittlebugs bite. Bitcoin is probably going to go down to 6K. Don't be a sucker, and good luck.
Sounds great, and we'll dive more into PayPal the next few times as well.